The year is 1875, and in the marshlands between the Tigris and Euphrates, a Mandaean priest named Zihrun performs a baptism. The water is murky, teeming with life. His white robes glow in the morning light. As he speaks the ancient prayers, he invokes an angel whose name he carries, an Uthra from the world of light, whose very existence poses a question Christianity spent centuries trying to answer. What if the being who brings the warning is more powerful than the one who brings salvation? The priest's name means, "The life warned me," not warned him specifically. Warned me. First person, present tense, eternal tense. The classical Mandaic script flows right to left, Zihrun. Each letter a river, each curve a revelation. This isn't a name given to an angel by scribes trying to categorize heaven's bureaucracy. This is a name that is theology, compressed, encoded, alive. Zihrun dunks the initiate beneath the Euphrates. The ritual pole beside him, a drabshah banner, bears sacred names woven into fabric. Third from the top, Zihrun, the angel watches from the world of light. The priest bears his name in this world. The distance between them collapses in the water's surface. And somewhere in the metaphysical architecture of Mandaeism, a door opens that should have stayed closed. Mandaeism is old, so old it venerates John the Baptist not as Christianity's opening act, but as its central prophet. The faith emerged in the Mesopotamian river valleys around the time Jesus walked Galilee, and it survived everything. Islamic conquest, Mongol invasions, Saddam Hussein, ISIS. 60,000 adherents remain, maybe fewer. They preserve a Gnostic cosmology where the material world is a prison, where archons, hostile cosmic powers, guard every exit, where salvation requires navigating a labyrinth of spheres and thresholds. And for that, you need guides. Uthras, not angels in the fluffy winged sense. Living fragments of the world of light sent to shepherd souls through hostile territory. Zihrun is one of those guardians. But his function differs from the others in one critical way. He arrives first. The name tells you everything. Zihrun, the life warned me. Hayi, the life, the supreme formless deity dwelling in infinite light, speaks. Zihrun receives the message, and then Zihrun passes it down the chain. He is the herald, the cosmic early warning system. In Mandaean prayer books, the Kulasta, he appears as Zihrun Raza, Zihrun the mystery. The title is perfect. Mysteries in Gnosticism aren't puzzles to solve, they're realities too luminous to perceive directly. You approach them obliquely, through ritual, through intermediaries, through names that mean something in the saying. And Zihrun never appears alone. He is always paired with another Uthra, Zhir. The names rhyme in Mandaic, their sounds interlocking like tumblers in a lock. Zihrun, the life warned me. Zhir, secured. Warning and sealing. Alarm and lockdown. The theology is functioning in the syllables themselves. Mandaean cosmology obsesses over safe passage. How do you move a soul through realms where every demon knows your name? You send two Uthras. One shouts the danger. One closes the door behind you. Picture it. The soul ascending after death, climbing through the planetary spheres where archons lurk. Zihrun sweeps ahead, scanning, alerting. They're waiting at the threshold of Mars. Zhir follows, sealing each passage once the soul clears it. The door is shut. They can't follow. It's cosmic counterinsurgency, and the operation requires both functions, or it fails. Too much warning without securing, you're paralyzed by fear. Too much securing without warning, you walk into ambushes. The pair balances into protection. Christian angelology never quite develops this. Michael fights, Gabriel announces, Raphael heals, but they work independently. Mandaeism builds its guardians in sets, each completing the other's vulnerability. And that structural difference hints at something deeper. Mandaean Uthras aren't servants of God in the sense Christians understand. They're emanations, aspects of the divine that extend into lower realms without fully separating. Zihrun doesn't obey the life. He is the life's warning function, personified and sent forth. Which brings us to the Mandaean book of John, chapter 62, where Zihrun is called a morning star. That phrase detonates in any theological discussion. Morning star, the Latin is Lucifer, the light-bringer, the term Isaiah uses for a fallen Babylonian king that Christianity repurposes for Satan. But Mandaeism predates that whole narrative. For Mandaeans, morning star carries no taint. It means what it meant in ancient astronomy, the herald of dawn. Venus rising before the sun. The brightest point in the pre-dawn darkness, signaling that light is coming, Zihrun the morning star. Zihrun the warning. The titles converge into a single function. He announces the approach of something greater than himself. He is not the light. He is the sign that light is near. And in a religion where the material world is darkness, where every Mandaean ritual begins by invoking the world of light, in explicit contrast to this world, the herald of dawn becomes a figure of cosmic importance. He stands at the boundary between trapped and free, between ignorance and knowledge. He is the boundary. But then the right Ginza, the Mandaean Book of Adam, part of their central scripture, calls him Zihrun Uthra, also known as Yusmir Kana. And Kana means source or place, not servant of the source, not messenger from the source. Source. And Kalasta prayer number 2, recited in baptismal rites, says something that should be impossible. Manda Dahayi is an emanation of Zihrun. Manda Dahayi, the knowledge of life, is the Mandaean savior figure, the redeemer, the one who descends to teach gnosis and lead souls upward. He is cosmologically massive. And according to this prayer, he comes from Zihrun. The hierarchy inverts. The warner is now the source of salvation. The morning star that announces the dawn becomes the origin of the light itself. This isn't poetic exaggeration. Mandaean prayers are liturgically precise. If Kalasta II places Manda Dahayi as Zihrun's emanation, the cosmology is doing something radical. It's suggesting that warning precedes knowledge, that you cannot receive salvific gnosis unless you first receive the alert that such knowledge exists. The herald isn't subordinate to the message. He is the precondition for the message to be heard. Philosophically, it's elegant. Epistemologically, it's devastating. You cannot know what you need to learn until someone warns you that you don't know it. Zihrun breaks through the veil of false certainty. He is the moment of realization that something is wrong with the world, the first crack in the Archon's illusion. And from that crack, Manda Dahayi pours through with the knowledge that explains the crack. Warning generates space for wisdom. Alarm creates readiness for teaching. The morning star doesn't just announce the sun, it makes the sun visible by training your eyes toward the horizon. This theology earned Zihrun an entire scroll, the Zihrun Raza Kassia, the secret of Zihrun. Mandaean scrolls are massive, hand-copied affairs, each letter painstakingly rendered in flowing Mandaic script. Copying one takes months. The fact that Zihrun warrants his own scroll, not just mentions in prayers, not just cameos in larger narratives, but a dedicated text, signals his centrality. The scroll itself is liturgically active. Priests read from it during specific rituals, invoking Zihrun's presence in moments of transition, baptisms, deaths, marriages. Any threshold where a soul might be vulnerable, Zihrun is called. The herald watches the gates, and his name appears on drabsha banners, ritual poles planted during ceremonies, each bearing the names of Uthras embroidered in white thread on white fabric. The banners function as spiritual anchors, tethering the world of light to the ritual space. Kalasta prayers 332, 340, 341, and 374 reference the drabsha of Zihrun, and prayer 347 expands his title to Zihrun Shashlamil. Shashlamil is harder to parse, likely a compound name merging Zihrun with another Uthra, but the pattern holds. Zihrun is woven into the physical objects of worship. His name becomes material, becomes fabric, becomes the thing you see when you enter the sacred space. By the 19th century, when European scholars begin documenting Mandaean practices, they encounter priests named Zihrun. Not invoking Zihrun, not studying Zihrun, named Zihrun, Ram Zihrun, the baptizer in the marshes. His parents gave him that name knowing full well it belongs to an Uthra. And that naming practice reveals something Christian and Islamic angelology never quite allows: the collapse of distance between the divine and the human. You don't name your kid Michael expecting him to become Archangel Michael. The names are separate categories, but Mandaean onomastics works differently. To name a child Zihrun is to align him with the Uthra's function, not to claim identity, but to create resonance. The priest named Zihrun performs rituals invoking the Uthra Zihrun, and in that doubling, the boundary thins. The name carries power not because it's arbitrary, but because it means. The life warned me. Every time someone calls Ram Zihrun by name, they speak a theological truth into existence. The warning is renewed. The herald is re-announced. This practice survives into modernity. Mandaean communities in Iraq, Iran, Sweden, Australia, wherever the diaspora scattered, still bestow Uthra names on their children. Zihrun remains common. The tradition endures not through institutional momentum, but through lived belief that names shape destiny, that aligning your son with the cosmic warner might give him the sight to navigate a world still ruled by archons. Different archons now: nationalism, fundamentalism, genocide, but archons nonetheless. The theology remains relevant because the danger remains real, and that relevance radiates beyond Mandaean communities. The idea of a warning system embedded in the divine order resonates in every mythological tradition that takes spiritual warfare seriously. Zihrun, the morning star, doesn't function like Lucifer: no rebellion, no fall. But he occupies the same narrative position, the bright thing that appears before the greater brightness. The herald whose job is to reconfigure perception so the truth can be seen. In Byzantine Christianity, Christ is sometimes called Phosphoros, the light-bringer, explicitly reclaiming the morning star title for orthodoxy. Islamic mysticism has the Najm, the star that guides through darkness. Every tradition needs a Zihrun. They just call him different names, but only Mandaeism builds the warning function into the theological foundation with such precision that it generates emanation chains, liturgical banners, and a surviving priesthood whose members literally carry the name. The system is coherent from the world of light down to the baptismal waters of the Euphrates. Zihrun warns from above. Zihr secures from behind. Mandaean emerges from the space they create, and souls climb through the gap. Ram Zihrun lifts the initiate from the water. The sun has fully risen now, burning through the marsh mist. The drab chapole casts a sharp shadow. The banner ripples in the wind, white thread on white fabric, nearly invisible until the light hits it at the right angle. Then the names blaze, Uthras of radiance, light, and glory. Third from the top, always third from the top, Zihrun. The priest dries his hands. The ceremony ends. The initiate walks back to the village, newly baptized, newly warned. Somewhere in the cosmological architecture, the morning star rises again, eternal and first, calling out the dangers and the light to come. The life warned me. The life warns still, and as long as someone speaks that name, whether in prayer, in ritual, or in the simple act of calling a child to dinner, the herald's voice echoes through the spheres. This is how a name becomes a theology, how a warning becomes a tradition. How 5 syllables in an ancient script carry the weight of 2,000 years and 60,000 souls clinging to the knowledge that someone, something, stands at the threshold between worlds and shouts a warning into the dark. Zihrun, the morning star. The mystery. The one who comes first and makes all other comings possible. His name is woven into banners, spoken in prayers, carried by priests, and written in letters that flow like rivers through a script older than empires. And in that persistence, that refusal to be forgotten or simplified or absorbed, a small community keeps alive the revelation that the most important divine function might not be saving us, but warning us in time so that salvation becomes possible. The life warned me. The door is secured. The knowledge comes, and the morning breaks.